How much lower can Colleen get? What do you think? She gets lower by the day, mocking victims in her shows, mocking legitimate concerns of people, minors, young adults, and parents who are concerned about her disgusting and depraved behavior. The audacity of this person, knowing full well the allegations against her, to continue touring, to continue her inappropriate show in front of minors, to rally support and validation from her family on stage, to her inappropriate actions in front of minors on stage, basically saying fuck you to the victims, and then maligning and manipulating everybody in her audience, sobbing like the manipulative jerk that she is. I don't care if she looked at these audiences in her past shows and her future shows for the rest of her tour season and think, well, this is the last time I'm going to do it. Everything that she has been built on the creativity, the energy, the love of minors. And what does she show and respect in return for that? She doesn't respect them. She doesn't care about them. She mocks them. She mocks her victims. She mocks children. She's mocked everybody in that audience. Ha ha ha, we fooled them. What kind of a diabolical piece of crap is this? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And, when I'm hearing people say, I love you, Colleen, you're beautiful, this and that. Now, I don't know who said that. If it's a minor, I'll understand because they're just being maligned by Colleen. That they're being manipulated by Colleen, just in the very similarly to how she has manipulated other minors. Allegedly, I have to say that. But I mean, if that's an adult saying those things, I want to ask them, why on earth, now if you're an adult that said those things to her in these shows, why on earth would you support somebody who stands accused of very serious allegations? And it's not just the grooming part. It's not just the negligence and emotional and psychological injury to children. It's about everything else. Why would you enable someone like this just because they're pretty and they're superficially kind? And you happen to like their character. You don't want your fantasy, you don't want your heart broken. Your heart should be breaking. Your heart should be hurt by the actions of this person that you disgustingly worship. Now, I'm going to say this again. I'm directing this if these were adults saying, I love you, Colleen, you're beautiful, as stated in a video. If you are a minor, it's not applied to you. There are a very different set of circumstances around that adults can answer, that adults can understand. But if you're an adult and you're cognizant of what Colleen has done to her other fans, and you still continue to enable her, you're just as bad as she is. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Because enablement in itself hurts people. It psychologically and emotionally injures people. People are trying to say, this is what happened to me, and what do they get? They get retaliation by stans. That stupid Colleen does not come forth and say, stop doing this. Don't do this. Don't do this to yourselves. Don't do this to people who to my victims, or however she wants to say it. Not once has she come out and said that. Not once has she organized anything with her legal team or her management team to address this. Is she just going to disappear? Is she going to come back in 6 months and rebrand? She is facing serious allegations of emotionally and psychologically injuring children who are now adults that have to go to therapy, who have for years were confused by this and then realized they have been groomed. Because I will tell you, a child, doesn't matter at what age, is not going to understand that they are groomed. And it's unfair for adults to say that they should have done something, they should have spoken out, that they did this. No, Colleen is an adult, was an adult at the time that this happened, is an adult now, and refuses to act like an adult and take responsibility for her fucking disgusting actions. I am so tired. I'm so sick and tired of this enablement, this abuse. This is repeated trauma applied to victims whenever they speak out against something. Whenever they say, listen, I have an experience. This is what happened. I once believed that Colleen really did a lot of this work herself. I really believed at one time she was a strong, sensible businesswoman. But it's not true. It's not true. Not true at all. She has used her privilege of being pretty, of being Caucasian, probably at one point of being religious. And I'm not saying, listen, there are a lot of people who believe in religion and would not stoop to this level. And I understand that. But I'm saying that she has used all of these things to put herself on a pedestal. She is maligning and using people to defend her at their expense. If they either have to go to therapy or they're facing legal consequences of other sorts because she refuses to address for anything and take responsibility for anything. And it is her responsibility to address this. Her responsibility. Her problems with relationships. Her problem with using children as the foundation of her shows, as the engine of the success of her shows, taking their money and maligning them, taking their innocent love and they look up to her. No one should be looking up to this woman. She does not stand for social justice. She does not stand for women's rights. She doesn't care. She only cares about herself. If she had ever really done anything to support women, she would not have maligned the children of those women she allegedly supports in general as a community. She would not have put girls into compromising situations where they felt scared or they were being manipulated or groomed or used. They're not going to get it right away, but they'll get it in their adulthood. Unfortunately, they carry the burden as much as they had to carry the burden of Colleen's secrets, Colleen's alleged plots against them, the backlash from her stance, the victims and the people who were harmed by her still have to hold that burden of getting mental health care out of their pockets, paying out of their pockets. They have to take on the responsibility of someone else's abuse and injury. It fucking pisses me off. We don't do enough in this society to hold people like this accountable. Financially, socially, emotionally, vocationally. And you're not doing, the stands and fans are not doing anything to help Colleen by enabling her. She becomes more monstrous every time she is given any kind of love or respect. An unconditional love by a treatment facility, unconditional care. That's what she needs. In my opinion, she should be in a fucking prison cell for this stuff. I'm so sick of this. And maybe that I'm triggered, and maybe like I'm seeing this through too much of a personal slant because of what I have gone through, but I have enough empathy for the victims to understand what they're probably going through. That's as much as I offer and understand. And I go back and forth. Yes, she's facing the consequences of it. And then I'm thinking, no, she's not. She's getting away with it. I don't know what's really going on behind the scenes. But Colleen shouldn't have a chance to disappear and come back. I hope she will hold herself for account for all of the things that she has done to hurt these people and make it right somehow. Whether it's done forcibly by the law or she does it on her own, on the terms of the victims, on their terms, what they want out of this, what they need out of this. Society doesn't make people like this pay hard enough. And people like this should physically pay for therapy and for things, as well as paying with their freedom and their time in other ways. Because that injury to that child that becomes an adult, it's a lifetime. It's a lifetime of questioning, do I trust people? Do I trust this person? Do I trust how I feel? And going through the entire emotions of it. I know that firsthand. I don't know it because I was never groomed by Colleen, but I was groomed by somebody else that I should have been protected by and hurt. And I pretty much paid with my mental health, my life. And I'm only starting to get my life back, and I'm 50 years old. You would think by now I would have my life together. No, I have it mostly together now, but that's what happens with grooming and abuse and not being supported during that time. It has a long range impact. Doesn't mean I'm damaged goods. Doesn't mean I lost my innocence. Doesn't mean any of those things. It means that grooming and abuse and psychological abuse and psychological gaslighting and all of these things have devastating consequences on developing minds, and it can carry well into their adulthood. The science backs it up. And all of these shows lately of mocking victims, mocking them by saying, I still have my fandom. I still have millions of subscribers and views. And mocking people who shared their experiences with Colleen directly, who were injured by her. She's basically saying, fuck all of you. That's what she's saying. What a despicable, shitty thing to do. What a despicable, in your face, traumatizing thing to do. You know what? I hope her fucking empire collapses, because maybe then she'll get an attitude adjustment. And I hate wishing that on people. I hate it, but I do not have any empathy for someone like this. And she's supposedly a Democrat or a liberal or whatever. Bullshit. She doesn't give a fuck about anybody else but herself. And I'll be the first one to say it. All right, I'm really angry right now. So I'm getting off of here and just take care of yourselves. I'm going to go take care of myself. Be well.